Hello, what's up YouTube? Today I wanted to make another TvP build order guide because it's been, again, a really long time since I did anything like that. And this is a build order that I've liked a lot recently and that I personally think is still good even on the new patch. This is something that Clem did a lot last patch, but I think that even after Cyclone Lock-On getting reduced, I think this build order is still quite strong against Protoss opponents. So, that out of the way, let's just get into the build order. First thing is we're going to start off with just a pretty normal one gas expand opening. So, for people that don't know, you're going to make two SCVs, rally the first one to your ramp. This first SCV is going to build your first depot. You're going to rally back to your mineral field after that guy builds the depot. Now you're just going to keep making SCVs while you wait for this depot to finish. Oh wait, speed this up because it's just waiting a little bit. But after you make this depot, this guy's going to make a barracks right here in your wall. And then you're going to take your gas immediately after the barracks goes down. Then you're just going to keep making SCVs the whole time, by the way. Like, most build orders that are macro build orders, you never want to stop building SCVs. So just, especially for this build order, if you ever stop building SCVs, that's a mistake, and you want to try to avoid that as much as you can. Anyway, when your gas is finished, you're going to pull 2 onto the gas. And you're going to make 2 more workers, because after that you're going to want to make your orbital. It times out so that you should have 15 out of 16 on minerals and 3 out of 3 on gas when you build the orbital. If a worker comes to harass you like this, just pull one off the mineral field and start attacking it back. If your worker gets low enough, you can pull it off, but here mine doesn't. It finishes it, and they both start attacking the probe. Now you're going to make your orbital, your reaper, when your barracks finishes, and you're going to send a guy downstairs to make your natural CC when you have 400. So right there, my CC goes down. And now, after your CC, very importantly, you want to build your second depot in the wall. Otherwise, you will get supply blocked, and that's really bad. So see, my guy goes, and he's going to build the depot and rally downstairs to build a bunker, because this is the only way that you can stay safe from people sending, like, the first stalkers across the map, for example. Here, the Reaper comes out and kills the probe that's been harassing me for a little bit. The probe didn't get anything done, he just scouted my base. Now, once you have 100 gas, you're going to put your factory down, and you can rally both your factory and barracks downstairs to where the bunker is going to be. And after your first marine pops out, which it goes Reaper Marine, and then you get this barracks down with a reactor on it, and you start building the bunker as I said. Sorry about the Discord notification. That's me. I forgot to turn it off. That's my bad. It's been so long since I made a full YouTube video. Anyway, after our factory goes down, you're going to want to take your second gas. Mine is a little bit late in this game. This is generally, you want to get it right away. For this build, I'm not going to play banshees, so it's okay. But if you were playing the banshee version, you want to get this refinery earlier. My Reaper is just being annoying on the other side of the map. You don't need to do this if you think that your Reaper, like, isn't this. Or if you think you're going to lose your Reaper, then don't send it across the map. But if you think you can micro it, that's fine. Anyway, your factory is going to get a tech lab on it as soon as it's done. And you're going to start making 1 cyclone immediately out of it when your tech lab is finished. And you're just going to, the whole time, be making marines and SCVs. And now, if they're annoying with an adept, just make sure that you raise your depots so that the adept can never get in. Anyway, once you have another 100 gas after you make your cyclone, you're going to throw down your starport. And you're also, after your starport, going to throw down a really fast third command center. This is really important with this build because otherwise you don't have enough money to afford everything. So this is a pretty greedy build, but you want to make sure that you get the third CC down. And you're just going to stay at home making tanks after your first cyclone, and this is how we're going to defend the early third CC. Your first cyclone can go across the map if you want it to, but it's definitely not a requirement, so I won't say that it should. Now, you should get your third gas on your natural at like 4 minutes-ish is when it should go down. And also the starport, when it's finished, can either get or tech lab if you want to make banshees, or reactor if you want to make Viking and faster liberators, which is what I went for in this game, with some pretty fast liberators. And after your first tank gets out, you're just gonna make, well, you're going up to 3 tanks. So you're gonna keep making tanks until you have 3 finished. And while you're building tanks, you want to start up mag field, so that when you're making cyclones, they actually have this really, really impactful upgrade. And anyway, after your 3rd CC finishes, pretty soon after, you're gonna want to start up your 2nd and 3rd factory, because after all, this is a Battlemech build, so the extra factories pretty early are going to be pretty important. See, he tries to poke me with the stalkers, and I was totally fine because I had the bunker. And now I'm going to keep building. I'm on my 3rd tank right now, so this is going to be the last tank I build. And there should be, yeah, there we go. 2 more factories, so I go up to 3. And he tries to blink the stalkers in, but as I see, I have a good tank split where 1 in the main, 1 in the natural, and so he can't really get any damage done because I have my tank spread out well. And he blinked into my main, so this 3rd tank is going to go into my main. Normally I'd put it like here on the ledge, or like back here to defend both the main and the natural, but it's up to you. Now, he makes a really big mistake because he rallies his prism into my defenses and he loses it. This build is a lot scarier if he doesn't do that, but still he only has 4 stalkers, and we have 3 tanks, a cyclone, and a bunch of marines, so you should be safe. Here, as you can see, I made 2 Vikings out of my first starport, but it's also totally fine if you want to play either, as I said, banshees with speed, or straight liberators. It's whatever works for you if you want to do some testing. I personally, in this game, just decided to go with the Viking and the liberators. And now, when your 2nd and 3rd factories are done, one of them is going to make a tech lab, and one of them is going to swap onto the reactor that your barracks made at the very beginning. And you're also going to start a blue flame because this barracks, or this factory, is just going to keep making Hellions for the rest of the game. And these 2 are going to keep pumping cyclones for the rest of the game. So your main army is going to be blue flame Hellion and magfield cyclones. Now when you think it's safe, which is usually once your 3 tanks are out and you're at like 100-ish supply, you're going to move your 3rd base down to and actually taking it, and you're going to take all the oversaturated SCVs, because you should have some extra SCVs on your natural because you've been producing the whole time, and you can send them to start mining the 3rd base. And during this, you're going to get down 2 more factories when your 3rd base is going down, so you're going to go up to 5, and you're going to stay on 5 factories for a while because 8 is really expensive. And also 5 gives you a lot of production, especially when you're building liberators alongside it. So as you can see, I have my tanks, 2 of them spread out in the 3rd base and 1 still in the natural. This is because these are going to be his main avenues of attack. And as you can see, he has some stalkers in the front and a warp prism in the back. Now, importantly with this build, the strongest timing that Protoss players have is around 8 minutes. And when you're taking your 3rd base and it's not fully set up yet, they're going to try to do something like this to you, most likely, where they do a big like charge Archon or just some gateway unit push towards the 3rd while doing something in the back of the base here. Now I'm going to slow this down because this is really important. At first, I see this, so I send some of my units back up to defend the main, but I know there's going to be attack at the front, so I keep the rest of my army in the front. Now this army is the more important one to defend, so I focus most of my attention on the front army. As you can see, I'm microing these units back, and these zealots are getting damage done, but they're in tank fire, so they're not the end of the world. And meanwhile, his front army doesn't get anything done. He doesn't kill the 4th. He's lost most of his units to the cyclone lock-ons. And now, after I've defended the front, I can look back at my main base and start actually putting attention here. So as you can see, I've pulled the workers, and most of them survived. And I've cleaned up the warp prism pretty well because my first 2 Vikings were able to shoot it down. And this is a pretty clean defense. As you can see, this is the scariest timing that Protoss had, and we ended up workers and up army supply after it. So this is a really good hold. If you get this hold, this game is basically over at this point, because he's spent all of his time gearing up for that push, and it got almost no damage. And now, one thing I just want to touch on is on your 4th and 5th barracks, you want to get 1 tech lab and 1 reactor. I know I didn't really go over that because the fight was happening, but this is because you want 2 of them that are making Hellions the whole time, and 3 of them that are making Cyclones the whole time. And now that my opponent has lost his entire army trying to attack into me, I'm just going to send my army across the map because I have a really strong kiting army, which means I can go in, attack him, and run away, and it's very hard for him to get close enough to attack me. So you're going to see this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to run in between his bases, and I'm going to start seeing where I can get damage done. So I run up the ramp, and I see his armies here, so I just lock onto a bunch of his units, and I keep kiting him. When he's running away, I run towards him, and when he runs towards me, I run away. And this is the entirety of the micro with this build order, is just running away when he's close, and chasing him when he's far. At the same time, by the way, at home you should be building, again, the 4 Hellions, 3 Cyclones, and 2 Liberators. At this point, you basically just only want to make Liberators because they're extremely strong at holding positions. If they're going Colossus, you want to make Vikings, but he was not going Colossus, so Liberators were a lot stronger in this game. Now, as you can see, just purely through the kiting trading and the initial defense, we're up 40 supply, and this Protoss player is completely stuck on his side of the map. So this game at this point is essentially over, and we're just waiting for the opponent to GG here. Because this army is incredibly strong, and his army of Stalker Immortal is not going to be strong enough to deal with it. Now, important notes, if you do a storm, you want to do the same type of micro. You just split away from the storm. So let's say, hypothetically, I wanted to chase him in here, or let's see where the engage happens next. I'm going to run up here, I guess. Yeah, and so hypothetically, let's say he storms like right here. Then I would want to keep kiting, but just split my army to the left of the storm and to the right of the storm, instead of just standing in the big ball. So storm is pretty easy to deal with because you can just split out of it, and it doesn't do as much damage as it did after the new hotfix. And as I said, if he builds Colossus, you just want to make Vikings, and you don't really need to change anything about the micro as long as you have enough Vikings. And if he plays Disruptors, then you just kite away when he shoots the ball out, and then you come back in when it's exploded and you're safe again. Again, sorry about the Discord messages, I forgot to turn them off. Now, the Liberators, as you can see, I'm using to siege the ramp, so it's really hard for him to break this position now because he has to fight into 2 Liberator circles and into the Hellion Cyclone army. So this game is basically over, as I've already said. Now, some important things to note, because this game's over, he's going to GG in a second. Yeah, some important final tips that I want to go over are, no, not this early, are when should you throw down your engineering bay? I know this is one that people are gonna, or sorry, not your engineering bay, your armory. This is one that people are gonna ask a lot, because people want to know when to make upgrades. Now, as you can see, I throw mine down right when my first 2, extra 2 factories finish. So as soon as I go up to 3 factories, I throw down the armory, because this is when I have money, and this is also a good timing because it means that your +1 armor, you don't really need attack because Cyclones don't benefit from the attack upgrade. So your +1 armor is going to finish when his big push comes in, most likely. If you find yourself getting pushed before it's done, you can make this a little bit earlier, but I found that this is a good timing for +1 armor to finish up with the push. I think in this game I actually forget it for a second, so it doesn't finish up with the push. But still, if you want to do it at this timing, it's usually good, or if you want to do it a little bit earlier. So I would say if you want an exact time range, somewhere between 5:30 and 6 minutes is a good time to throw it down. And any other questions you have about this build order, if it's not working for you, if you want to see a different build order, just leave a comment. I will go through all of the comments on this video to see what people want next. And this has just been personally working for me very well, but again, if you want something else, something cool, you want me to look at something, leave a comment or join the Discord. The Discord is in my YouTube bio. So that's all for now, and have a good day.